I'm Grady.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Charisse.
And welcome to Highlights, a show where we recap a reality competition show, usually a drag one, like it's sports, even though it's not. In this season, we are covering All Stars 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And what a legendary season it is indeed. Let's get into it. Previously on Drag Race. Last week's episode was Draguation speeches, where the queens had to come up with inspiring yet comedically genius graduation commencement speeches on the main stage.
What a difficult assignment, by the way, for anyone. Like for me as a communications major, I was like, this is daunting. Like it's not just, it's comedy. You got to roast a little bit. It needs to be short, succinct, inspirational. Whoa.
It's like a weirdly specific challenge. I didn't know how I felt about it. Interesting things as the episode opens up. So, Monet is blocked. Vivian also decides to open her mouth and put it out into the universe that she was actually going to block Jinx, but because they were the top two, she didn't get a chance to block Jinx. I don't know what the point of bringing that up was, but she threw it out there.
Yeah, that seemed pretty pointless. Unless she was trying to remain on Monet's good side, because Monet was visibly bitter about it.
We get into the workroom and we're getting ready to get the challenge. RuPaul enters the room looking like a 90s X-Men villain. And the most choicest of choices for outfits I've probably ever seen him make.
What was this? This is like the randomized sim when you start a new game. This was so weird. First we had Sandalgate last time, and now we have this mess.
It's just a weird sharp turn in the wardrobe department for him.
I feel like a stylist tries to break out of the box every once in a while, but there's nothing wrong with the suits.
Yeah.
Right. They always look good. They're always different colors. They're flashy. They're fabulous. This was several choices.
Just go back to the suits. You ain't got to reinvent the wheel.
Right. This was something else.
Ru delivers the challenge, also lets them know a couple things. One, the winners of the challenge will get 2 stars each, one to keep and one to give away. How charitable. Not sure what the point of that is either, but interesting twist.
But Monet, why'd you even try to make alliances? The production was going to do it for you.
Exactly.
Make you guys play favorites.
Exactly. Also, Monet, since she's the one who's blocked, gets to decide the lineup of the people for the Draguation speeches. Interesting.
Why did everybody want to go third? That's so unmemorable. Like it's unremarkable. It's just third. It's not a good spot.
It also leaves you open to kind of being forgettable if someone after you is that much better.
Yeah. So everybody writes their speeches or begins the writing process of their speeches. Some are struggling, some are not, some are messing around. But as is tradition with these challenges, they get to kind of do a run through with the judges first. So Carson Kressley and our guest judge, comedian Dick Glazer, get to give them a little bit of help and go over their material. And some notable standouts, I was initially worried about Raja when they started going over her stuff. I don't know if that was an editing choice or what, but they didn't really spend a lot of time with her and it looked kind of rough. Evie was a little rough.
I think Trinity was pretty rough. I don't know if you said Trinity
during the rehearsals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. She needed a lot of feedback and she got kind of emotional, which was weird.
Mm-hmm.
The feedback they got from the judges, though, was very useful. Like incredible
absolutely.
feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And with Raja especially, it was definitely the editing. Like hands down. When I watched the episode again today, I was like, oh, interesting.
I would have to
I also
agree.
kind of think with Raja that her creative process may look really weird from the outside looking in, and that's kind of the vibe I got, whether it was editing or not, was that as she was trying to explain it, she's like, it kind of got the vibe where she was like, it's gonna work. Like, it doesn't look like that right now, but it's gonna work.
Rue's look tonight, or last week's episode, whatever it is. Not bad. I liked last week's better, I think, to be honest with you.
I liked it from the midsection up. It got really billowy at the bottom, which was kind of
like
hard
a parachute.
Yeah, it was really distracting, but I loved the way the top looked. It looked like it was draped beautifully, and like everything kind of, like the colors were great, but the bottom was a little billowy and looked a little weird.
Yeah, it was all right.
Absolutely. Like the full frame of her dress was kind of off, but when they cut to just the top portion, I was like, ooh, hello.
Yeah. It's like this I can sign on for.
Absolutely. I thought everybody else looked pretty good. And you're right, Nikki Glazer's dress tonight, or this week's episode, whatever we're doing. I don't know why I keep saying that, but she looked amazing. I really appreciated it.
Absolutely. I love it when the guest judges dress up and when they take things seriously and when their feedback is good. Like the queens need the feedback.
So it's time to give these speeches. Already it's weird just seeing them sitting there. The different outfit choices, like it's very different graduations happening all at once. First up was Monet, who chose to start the show herself, which again I can kind of understand, but also I don't know if it really worked out in her favor. And she had kind of a rough start. Her comb fell out of her hair. Her jokes were meh.
How dare you, sir? That was a pick.
Yeah, well, it's a pick as a comb, right?
Ish. You do two different things with it. You don't really like comb with a pick.
Oh, I guess.
It's more of like a build volume type of thing.
Oh, I guess.
For curly hair. But Monet's opening was definitely awkward. It was cute and funny by the end, but if she wasn't 100% sure of her opening, why? Because she started with good morning, good afternoon. And then she went into the thank you faculty like joke.
Yeah.
And then the pick fell out of her hair.
Yeah.
And then it got better.
It did. She did okay. It wasn't like terrible, but I wasn't like super entertained by it.
Yeah, I think that's like a general gist of a lot of the episodes for this season is that I don't think anyone really bombs. Everyone does okay, and then some just do really well.
Yeah, that's true. Shay was up next. I thought Shay did really good. Shay was very strong.
Delivery was amazing.
Yeah, she was
very
really
poised, practiced. I thoroughly enjoyed hers. And I'm glad she went when she did, because if I had seen it after everyone else's, I probably might not have been as impressed. So I was glad that she went when she did.
Absolutely. And now that you mentioned that, Zach, as far as order, for sure. I don't think I would have liked it as much, but it was funny. It was inspirational. Her timing was perfect. It was fantastic. Like Shay would have been a great show opener. And it's not that Monet did bad. Like you said, no one really does bad. This episode was really good. Everyone did really well. Yeah. But certain people really hit it out of the park.
Absolutely. Trinity was up next. Trinity, I thought, had some really strong points and then some okay moments. She did okay. I thought she did better than Monet, but she was still pretty middle ground for me. Not bad though by any means, which, it's a good group. Either way, this whole thing was entertaining.
For sure, she did well. Like you said, though, everybody being in different robes and stuff and being at their own different graduation definitely threw it off. To see the audience react, you're like, what is happening right now?
Right. Raja was up after that, and Raja was weirdly really good. Completely made up, not authentic in any way, but it was so good.
And she looked like one of the Sanderson sisters. I loved it.
Yeah. She oddly enough looked the youngest. I think she's looked all season. She had that blonde wig. Her makeup was gorgeous. It was really good. And she was hilarious. Her dyslexic joke, I thought that was hilarious. Oh, it's all good stuff.
It was so fantastic. As an audience member, like I just leaned forward and got so caught up in it twice that I forgot to take notes. Like twice. Was just giggling so hard. And she did so great. Her timing was so great. Shay started it off. Trinity did great. And then Raja definitely like built the back half of all these graduation speeches and definitely brought the bar up and was like, oh no, try and top this, bitch.
Yeah. Poor Jada suffered a little bit, I think. Jada, I thought, also did fine. But when you follow up someone like Raja, who just like home runned it out of the park, it kind of instantly becomes a little forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor
For
thing.
sure. Jada and Shay were both in the same group as far as they were funny. It was interesting. They ended on a funny note. They both had really good weeks. I thought they were strong. They just weren't quite as strong as Raja and two other people that went later.
Then there was Evie. And I'm having a problem with Evie.
We need
Evie-
to talk about Evie.
Evie, I don't know. Evie, I feel like when she's like not confident, sometimes she tries way too hard. If maybe, I don't know how else to explain it, to be honest. But there was just something overly. She tumbled over across the stage, dropped her card. She did all these things, like big stuff. I think to distract it. Her material, once we got to it, wasn't quite as strong as some of the other people. On theme with what her material was for, and I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, I just felt like her material still just wasn't as good. It was very genuine, very good stuff, good lessons to be learned there, but it was very rough.
I found that the ones like, so for me, like for the bottom four that I chose were the ones that really couldn't marry that really good message with a really witty comedy. Like Evie had the comedy and it was, like you said, it was really big, but it didn't quite mesh with her message for me. So I think it gave off different signals. So it didn't look as tailored as the other contestants did.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, Evie had she tried for a lot of physical comedy, which is what she relies heavily on, her body and her body movements. And the Viv did a certain amount of physical comedy as well, but she didn't try as hard.
Next up was Jinx, who I also thought did very, very strong. She told the story about being hit by the car and then kept tying all of her jokes back to that, which is a really smart comedic skeleton to follow. And I appreciated that. Very strong. I didn't think she was as good as Raja, but I did.
Yeah, not as strong.
Yeah, but I did think she was still very good.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that comedy is like, comes to her like the back of her hand. Like she just knows it so well. So I think the skeleton was almost too easy to see as far as like how she came up with it.
One of the things about Jinx is that she's such a performer. And what I noticed during this episode specifically is she's a really good storyteller. She uses her body when she needs to. She changes her tone of voice. She brings it up. She brings the volume down. All of it was fantastic. Like Grady said, she brought the message of the story getting hit by the car in Amsterdam. She weaved that through everything. Brought comedy out of it. It's the same story. She teased trauma. You know what I mean? All these things were teased out of the same story.
Vivian closed out the show. And she did her like drunken commencement speech as a sober person who was no longer sober.
Kind of sounded a little bit like her Trump voice, not gonna lie.
Yeah. My notes just say, "Oh wow," because like I don't. it was entertaining, but it was also weirdly uncomfortable. Like, I was kind of
As
ready
I
for it to
imagine
be
being
done.
around someone that drunk would be.
Yeah, it was like too authentic. I was like,
Yeah, I do think Monet did her a huge favor in having her go last, because she really got to like end it with a bang and really have her character be huge and not, she could just go all the way with it, which I think really played to her favor.
Absolutely. She couldn't have ended like that at third, going third and then gotten back up on the stage behind them and then watch the rest of the girls do their graduation speeches. Like, that would have not have gone very well with her character.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Monet did that as a dig for blocking her, but she turned it out.
Oh no, she absolutely did it as a dig for blocking her, for sure. But Viv is a great performer, so everybody needs to watch out. Viv completely leaned into the character that she decided she was going to go with. It wasn't half-ass at all, and I appreciate that. As an audience member, she took it full force. I'm not saying it wasn't a little uncomfortable to watch at certain points, as far as like, maybe I've been that drunk before, who knows? But like, it's okay.
Haven't we all?
It's okay.
Okay, so for the runway, theme was Veiled It. And first up was Monet, who got a lot of praise for this outfit. And I just wrote, nope.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
This was the same silhouette that we've seen now for like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, with the cage thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how many of those is she gonna bring and stone and throw on her body? Like, I can't do it anymore. No, ma'am.
I thought it was cute. Maybe not for this episode. The garment was beautiful. I'm not saying that it wasn't. It wasn't for me so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. She looked great. Her makeup was good, but it didn't wow me and amaze me.
Shays loved it. Thought she looked stunning.
I want that look for when I go work in my garden.
Yeah, it was good. And a very creative, kind of out of the box way to take veil.
Oh my God, Zach, yes. I want to be this fashionable when I am out working in a garden. Please. If only half. Oh my goodness.
And it looks so comfortable. Like, it just looked comfy. Like, I feel like I would be comfortable wearing it.
He could nap in it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Shay pays attention to all these small little details as far as how the garment's going to look when it's moving, how it's going to look when it's standing. There's still a silhouette, the way things move. Raja also pays attention to things like this, and it's just over the top lovely. I love this look.
Yeah, so good. Trinity was up next. I also thought this was gorgeous. The giant heavy veil in the back into the hair. It was really nice. I thought she looked fantastic.
This is beautiful. Bury me in this dress.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Raja came out as a magazine cover.
This was amazing. I loved this.
Yeah, this was so cool and very smart.
So smart. She stood out so much. So creative.
Jada came out as kind of one giant veil. Covered head to toe in veil. I loved it. It was very Spanish looking and just absolutely gorgeous.
I loved this. I will wear this to the next funeral that I have to go to. It was the most amazing, like mysterious. I love black lace. It was sparkly. Oh my goodness. Jada Essence Hall I love her so much this season.
Yeah, so good. Evie Oddly came out next. All I wrote was, And not that I didn't like the outfit, I don't know if it counted as a veil. I didn't really understand. It was more beaded to me than anything, which is fine.
Yeah.
It looked fantastic. It's probably one of her better looks, of the season. I just don't know that it necessarily hit the prompt for me.
Yeah, I actually really loved this look, but I agree. If she had something more of a veil, or even just more beads to make it appear more veil-like, I think it would have checked the box a little better.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like the colors, the detail, oh God, I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's stunning. And I feel like she counted the hood as a veil, but a veil covers your face.
Yeah.
So the beads for me were the only veil, even though she was like, oh, there's two. Beautiful garment, though. Beautiful. She wore it really well. Oh my gosh. I think this is the best she's looked all season.
Yeah, absolutely. Jinx came out next. I loved this. This is such a good color on her, first of all. And then the hair looked great. The veil in the front looked amazing. And then the butterflies holding up the back was really creative. I thought this was great.
She looks stunning in it, but my issue with both this look and Trinity's look is like, I feel like bridal was a very easy way to go for veil. Both looks were beautiful and stunning, but I think that's why like Raja's like stood out so well for me, because it's like, oh, it's not really bridal. It's so different and so out of the box. But she looks fantastic.
No, absolutely. And that's why Shay stuck out for me too, because it wasn't bridal. It was lovely. And I love Trinity and I loved her look, but she has worn a lot of capes this season. And if she packed that many capes and she knew there was going to be a veil runway, why would she do that many capes before this one? She even pointed it out in her confessional, either that or the producers pointed it out to her and asked her specifically about it, because she literally listed off about 5 looks where she had worn capes. And then Jinx, this is so simple and so lovely, but I feel like we literally just saw the silhouette, and except for the veil, saw this very dress on her last week or the week before or something. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. Her silhouette is fantastic. She knows how to proportionize, but the butterfly effect holding the veil back was fantastic. Jinx had a good week, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of basic. And like Zach pointed out, bridal is super easy and it's a go-to.
Yeah. Last but not least, the Vivian came out as the kind of BDSM bride.
See, this was the bridal I was okay with. This was so different.
Oh my goodness, what a naughty girl.
Yeah.
Right.
Completely color coordinated.
Right.
And that blue looked fantastic. Like it was
stunning. Seriously, like Zach said, this is the bridal that I could totally get on board with. I took so many pictures of this. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
I feel like Viv had a good week too. My standouts this week are Raja, Jinx, and the Viv for sure.
Absolutely.
Jada and Shay are tied for next.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
This episode,
those are my top 4 too.
I really enjoyed it.
Before we find out who plays tie and who plays top 2, we get a brief visit from Nancy Pelosi, who stomps down the runway herself to remind everybody to get out there and vote.
After the polls have already closed.
Weird.
For the primaries.
Weird, unfortunate scheduling of the airing of the episode. But, get out there and vote. Midterm elections. It's important.
Or whenever this is airing, or you're watching this on YouTube, like Jinx said.
Just vote in everything. If you ever have an option to vote, just vote.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
There's a Baskin Robbins poll. Vote for your flavor.
You get a sticker when you vote. It's my favorite part.
Absolutely. So per the winner's edit, no bottoms or anything like that, of course. But people who placed high this week were, in fact, Shay, Vivian, Raja, and Jinx. I would have to agree. And our top 2 of the week are, in fact, Raja and Jinx. Both each getting a legendary legend star and the power to gift one away. But they're told they can't give them away yet. They have to wait until next episode. So it didn't matter for Monet anyway.
So you have time to be their super BFF.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Oh my god. I'm really curious to see who they give them to. And it's a weird strategy. I don't know who I would give it to. It's like you obviously don't want to just gift one to somebody like Jinx, probably. You probably want to throw them towards probably Evie.
She doesn't have one, so she's not going to be like a threat.
Right, and based on how she's performing, not super likely to rack him up going forward. So yeah, I'd probably be like, here you go.
If I were Raja and Jinx, I would definitely collab on like who they're giving each star to, so they don't like screw everything up and like give it to the same person or something. And give someone 2 stars. I'd be like, well, who are you giving it to? Because I'm not going to do the same thing.
Very true.
Gosh, can you imagine if Evie was the first one to get 2 stars? Dun dun dun.
But yeah, they do in fact lip sync to Better in Color by Lizzo. Interesting. And I've never seen Jinx move like that. Like suddenly she was totally down for a lip sync, more than I've ever seen her be down for one before.
She was wearing that huge ball gown last week. She couldn't move at all. She was expecting to do a ballad like Adele style.
Yeah, and she was like, I don't know, she owned this song. Like, I was like, okay, go for it, Jinx. She wins another $10,000 by winning this lip sync. Crazy. Raja doesn't win any money. Raja got a star. She still has no money. I feel bad for her. Any hoozles. So Jinx wins the lip sync, wins her $10,000. She gets the power to block, and she chooses the Vivian to be blocked. Do you agree?
I don't disagree. I don't really see the strategy in it. Like, not that Vivian's not a contender, because she is. She's very strong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know that Vivian would have been my choice.
I think it's personal based on Jinx and Viv both feeling like they're in each other's lane.
I agree.
So I feel like they're trying
okay.
one of them's trying to make it to the finale without the other one.
Right.
Because they're so closely matched.
Right. Okie doke. Time for top tweets. Anyways, getting into the scoreboard. So just to check in on everybody's cash prize winnings, because that's fun. Jinx already has racked up $22,500. Isn't that insane? I know. Shay and Jada both have $10,000. Vivian has $11,500. Monet, Trinity, Raja, and Evie all have no money. They're broke. No. And then going into general stats, so challenge wins. Jinx has 3 challenge wins under her belt. She's currently in first place, also with 2 legendary legend stars. An overall performance, Trinity is not far behind her. She's got 2 challenge wins under her belt, only 1 legendary legend star, but still 2 challenge wins nonetheless. Everybody else except for Evie has 1 challenge win under their belt. Raja and Shay tying in performance, both placing high and winning the same amount of times each. Their stats are identical. Vivian right behind them in 4th. She's only dipped a little bit more than they have. Jada and Monet now officially tied kind of in 5th. With Evie, poor thing.
Oh, Jada, no. You don't
know.
belong down there.
I know. I don't know that she'll stay down there, though. I wouldn't be too worried. Evie, though, dead last. No stars, no wins, nothing. Even with a winner's edit, she's got to be feeling some type of way.
Okay, so as a winner's edit, I believe that Evie and Monet will turn it out 6th and 7th. That's basically my prediction so far. Not that they are lesser queens and not that they aren't fantastic, but I don't think that they'll be rising to the cream of the crop.
But yeah, so next week it will be the girl group challenge. They're doing a mock episode of TRL from MTV, which is going to be really cool. I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Give me this 90s episode, please. I'm so excited.
Right.
So excited.
I'm sure Raja is too, because she was, she was right at that age. Anyway.
For sure, the homeschool girl that lives inside of me is screaming for this episode right now.
That's awesome.
You have no idea.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Well, if you'd like to check out any of our past or ongoing coverage of All-Star 7, you can check that out right here on the PG Media channel. You can also follow us on social media. You can find that information in the description below. And subscribe today so you don't miss out. And as always,
thank you for watching highlights.
And we'll see you next time.